Hey guys, it's Staci Hutch, and apparently our bosses thought that we didn't talk enough.
So we're going to do a podcast.
We're going to say too much. Hopefully we don't get fired, but it's a podcast, so they can't fire us for having our own thoughts.
And we don't get paid for this, so how can you fire from something that you don't actually do for a job?
You're not getting paid?
No, are you?
Let's start the podcast. Yay!
Here we are!
So excited to be here today because my middle school emo self is so excited. It's so stoked. It is, and I'm sure Kevin hates hearing that.
Well, I was a lot older. So don't
Kevin.
feel bad. I think we're around the same age.
Kevin Griffin is with us from Better Than Ezra. We all know it. Kevin,
Hey!
do you hate hearing that my middle school self is excited?
No, whatever self that gets titillated by Better Than Ezra, I'm down with. Whatever it takes, Hutch.
First off, thanks for coming on. We are excited to have you come to town tomorrow. Actually, you're gonna be at the Varsity, which is a cool venue.
Back in Minneapolis, I can't wait. I love it.
What do you? I'm sure you go to so many cities. You're in Kansas City right now, right?
I'm in Kansas City at the beautiful Lowe's Hotel. So yes, this is the glamour of a hotel room.
Did you miss touring?
So life is good, guys.
Did you miss touring? Did you, because it's been a while, COVID, all that stuff, back out there and doing a really good popular tour too. A lot of people wanting tickets and seeing you.
Yeah. Obviously like everybody else during COVID, we took time off and I started like a lot of musicians, I started doing weekly live streams, but they were all for charity. And I raised almost a $250,000 for different charities and workers and food kitchens. It was an amazing time. But we've been touring heavily. Last summer, we Better Than Ezra and Train did a summer tour. I think we came to somewhere outside of Minneapolis. There's a lot of places outside of Minneapolis. And now we're back out on the road. We have a new album that came out a week ago today. It's doing great, beyond our expectations. And the tour and just the people coming out, it's just blowing our minds. And we can't come back. Can't wait to come back to you guys in the Varsity. I don't know if we've ever played the Varsity, or it's been a while.
It's a cool venue. You're going to love it.
Have you done First Ave?
We've done First Ave. We did the 8th Street Entry. That was the first place we played. Do they still have that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was notable because I broke the neck on my prized Les Paul guitar that night. Back in 1995. It was replaced, but man, we have so many great memories in Minneapolis, and it's just great to be back out on the road and getting to talk to people like you.
Are you going to have time to hang around and check things out, or do you have to leave right away?
Yeah, we have the day off
good.
on Sunday. Is that right? Yeah, Sunday's a day off. The bus is going to go to Indianapolis. I like flying rather than going overnight in the bus, so I usually go. When I'm in town, I go over to St. Paul. I go to the museum. I'm a big Frank Gehry fan.
Sure.
So I soak in the culture, guys. It's just not rock and roll and sex and drugs and all that.
Yes, you want to see the cool architecture, all the cool stuff.
But we want to educate. And the only way for me to educate is to be educated.
Oh,
absolutely.
Go with it.
What I went to go see Sum 41 2 weeks ago, and it was packed at the Armory. It was packed. A lot of bands are resurging. I mean, I don't even want to use the word resurging because you guys have been around. It's not like you went anywhere.
You're just stepping back in the spotlight. How's that?
People are really excited for that, to see these bands come back and just sell out and do these amazing shows.
I think there's I agree. And and Sum 41 has always been, really huge. And so it's great to see them doing well. It's if you stay doing something long enough, you kind of come back in vogue, or people rediscover there's I'm like in Nashville where I live, I'm writing songs most days, and I'm writing with all these young artists, and they're all like, hey man, can we do a song that sounds like your song from 1996? So people want that sound again. I'm like, yeah, that's easy. So it's nice to see people coming to the shows and the attendance is going, bigger than we've ever had. And I think that most bands would tell you, whether it's Sum 41 or any band that's been around, the thing that means the most now are people coming up to you and say, hey man, you know, your music is a soundtrack to our lives. It takes me back to my road trip with my buddies in college, or our first dance, you know, and our wedding and stuff. And that means the most now. For sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you write the song. I'm sure you write it, and you don't know whether it's going to be a hit. You know, take "Good" for example. Obviously, everyone knows that, and you know, I could tell you where I was when I listened to that. I was always mowing the lawn in Florida in middle school. You know, listening to
Headphones
it on XL
yeah.
106.
Instead of going to school, you weren't allowed to go to school. You were mowing lawns.
It was Florida.
It's better to not go to school in Florida.
Yeah.
Where in Florida?
Well, Winter Park, Orlando.
Okay. Yeah. I know.
And so when you have those songs, you have that nostalgia. You know, there's two things people remember, I think, the most with memories. It's smells and it's music. You hear something and it takes you back to that time. When you play it on stage, is it one of those things where it takes you back to when you were writing it? Or you're like, God, I'm playing this song again, you know?
You know, it's funny. I think some bands don't like their hit songs, the ones that did well for them. But man, I've, you know, having written songs for so long, I realized that it's super rare to have, you know, there's so many hit songs out there that are never going to be hits because all that crazy chemistry didn't happen with a label picking up the band, or a program director or a DJ loving a song and making it happen. So we love playing songs like Good, you know, the hits. And it takes me back. I mean, when I play the song, you know, I see the recognition in people's faces. Number one, because we'll play a new song or something that that you do. Don't worry, at the Varsity tomorrow night, we're going to be playing tons of new songs. Enough, but you don't even want to see the Rolling Stones play new songs. But just to see recognition in people's eyes when you play a song like Good is really cool. I love playing them. It always takes me back to when I wrote it, and I was in 910 Hearthstone in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that song took 5 years. It was rejected by so many labels that when we would audition for them, do showcases, and then finally, you know, summer of '95, it was number one, and then we got Norm Macdonald's most famous soundbite, probably from Saturday Night Live. Do you know what that was?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
Well, when Norm Macdonald passed away a couple of years ago, everybody was doing their top lists, you know, of his stuff on Weekend Update. And one of the most famous ones, look it up, I'm sure listeners, is Norm Macdonald's is closing out Weekend Update. And he says, this summer, the number one band on college campuses was Better Than Ezra. Number two, Ezra.
Okay, I actually have it right here. Can I play it real quick?
Oh yeah, but okay. So now you get to hear the good Norm Macdonald delivery. Go ahead.
All right.
It's coming any moment. Dead air. Dead air.
Oh my God! And then he does his deadpan, which he's so good at. Oh,
that's awesome. I don't remember that.
When you're ready, you know what's funny? The thing about the name Better Than Ezra, when we came up with the name back when we were students at LSU, we just didn't know that it would stick in people's heads. You know, I didn't think that 35 years later I'd still be talking about Better Than Ezra. But like this past summer, or this past spring, a year ago, the opening on Saturday Night Live, they had like a Trump. It was something with Trump. Trump was on the news, so they had Trump do a cold opening. One of the actors, and Trump comes out and he goes, you know, I'm better than Washington. I'm better than Lincoln, and quite frankly, I'm better than Ezra.
Doesn't that just like thrill you that you're still on people's
just to be part, whatever you think of Better Than Ezra, we're in the pop universe, you know.
Yeah, you are part of it.
Because you guys know, man, it's hard. It's hard to stay in this business. And so the fact that we get to do it and have fun and be silly, and I get to go see friends. I'm having a big dinner with people from Kansas City, people we've known from the industry for years. You know, it's just a blast. So we're having more fun now than we ever had.
Yeah, you could be doing a real job, like a, you know, real person.
True. I'm reminded of that all the time.
You're still having fun making music. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and getting to share that with people is really cool. You know, I do. You know, it's funny because Better Than Ezra led to other musical things. Like I write for a lot of people, everybody from Taylor Swift to James Blunt to Dierks Bentley, Morgan Wallen, and then I started a music festival, Pilgrimage Music Festival, and we celebrate our 10th year. This September 28th and 29th in Franklin, Tennessee, about 18 miles south of Nashville. We've got Noah Kahn, Dave Matthews, Hosier, and a lot of bands. It's a.
How do we get on that list, Kevin?
Yeah.
You know, right now, let's just say, let's have you guys broadcast live from Pilgrimage Festival.
I think we should.
I'm down.
We are down. We'll talk
All right,
to
the gauntlet has been laid down.
It's down. Okay. We will do that.
Pick it up.
You know, I mean, okay, then you know what? You have to come to the Minnesota State Fair, hang out with us.
All right.
Or you can come do our music therapy
event, next year. So.
That's fun.
Now, anything that's charitable and stuff, I love doing.
Let me ask you, I know we have a little bit more time with you real quick here, but Staci and I were talking. We talk about this all the time because we grew up, obviously, in the 90s and 2000s. Is it annoying to you that it's changed so much to try and sell a whole album? Because you don't sell albums anymore. You sell singles. Or you've got to be famous on TikTok first, then to sell that single where, man, you were creating stories with albums. You were creating a whole brand around one album, from the artwork to the music that was laid out in a particular order on a track set or set list. And now it's just like, well, let's just crank out hit after hit. And you know this because you're writing songs for other people too. So the difference between 90s and selling to today and selling, is it nerve-wracking?
It's odd, you know, but look, in the 60s, I'm told, that's when I was born, you know, that it was all singles. You know, it was the early 70s when albums became a thing, right? So it's kind of done this over the years. You know, now it is about streaming and it's about TikTok. You know, my kids, my youngest boys are 15-year-old twins, and I'll be hearing them listening to, you know, to TikTok, and I'm like, oh, that's Stevie Wonder in the background of that meme or whatever. And they go, oh, what? And they don't, music isn't what it used to be for a lot of people. And you're right, it's about singles. So people have been asking us, why did it take 10 years to make a new album? You know, I think most bands take longer between albums as they go along, right? Because life just kind of comes up. But also I think that for a lot of bands, unless you're like U2 or Coldplay and you're just massive, you know, you have to figure out why put an album out. And ultimately it's not, used to, it would be like, let's have a platinum album and, you know, and raking the money. And that was awesome. But now putting out a new album is really about making new music. Really, you got to be happy about giving new music out to your fans and making them happy and keeping them engaged. So it's a different mindset about making an album. Why are you doing it? And it comes back to the joy of it, the art, and those people who do care about stories. I mean, Taylor Swift still sells albums and people do sell them, but you're right. It's a single, it's singles now, and you got to say what you want to say in 2.5 minutes. It used to be 3.5 minutes, but now it's shorter.
Yeah. We are not big fans of that.
We can't eat. We can't go
eat.
to the bathroom. We can't do anything these days because we talk after every song.
When Good came out, it was 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It still is. And I remember the label because we put it out ourselves, but when it came out, the label wanted us to make it longer. And you know, but a 3-minute song was considered really short. Now it's like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And there are songs out there that are 1:50 that are massive hits.
Little boothing. Every time I see that come up on the playlist, I'm like, 1:50. I can't scarf down I mean, I could scarf down a burger that quick, but I mean, you get heartburn.
It's troublesome for us. Very troublesome. What song did you write for someone else that you're most proud of?
Probably the song that's the biggest and still does so well is How We Day Collide. Which is a big song. Sugarland, Stuck Like Glue was a big one.
I love that song.
Yeah. Florida Georgia Line, May We All, Chasing You, Morgan Wallen's a big one. You know, look, I love the fact that Taylor Swift, you know, cut a song by us called Breathless, a song I wrote. That was the 12th track on an album, was never released as a single, and she cut and released that. So those are some good ones. And then I'll send you the link to the Spotify Kevin Griffin songwriter page. It's 14 hours of music. So buckle in.
We're going to listen to it on our road trip down to Pilgrimage Festival.
There you go.
And then when we go to Franklin, you know, we're gonna listen to that on the road trip. So.
Are you guys going to be at the show tomorrow night? Is the question.
I want to try to make it for sure.
I have nothing going on.
So
why don't you introduce, if you're there, one of you guys or both, introduce us.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
do we yell like most people do that aren't familiar with maybe your real first name? Because I'm sure they yell Ezra, Ezra,
yo, dude, Ezra, yeah,
Ezra. Hey, yeah. Ezra. And you're like, dude, that's not my name. It's the band's name, but
no, you're better.
You're better. Yeah.
Ezra was such an odd name in 1988 is when we had our first rehearsal. I have an uncle named Ezra, but it was just, now it's more in vogue with Ezra, Koenig from Vampire Weekend. And who's the crazy Ezra from The Flash?
Oh, yes.
He's got like I don't know. He's always in
a rap sheet.
Just on the edge of getting arrested.
Yes. Well, there's an artist, George Ezra, too, now.
Oh, right.
There's a George Ezra who I love. People
either
love that song, love George Ezra, or they don't like him.
I'm
in the like.
Me too, for sure. Well, man, it's good to have you. May 11th, Saturday at Varsity Theater. You can check Better Than Ezra out. Some tickets still available. And, of course, the new album, Super Magick, as well. Kevin, thanks for joining us, man. We're going to be in contact with you because we're definitely going to come down to the fest in September.
And tomorrow night. So there you go. Thanks for joining us, man. Guys, thank y'all so much.
All right, bye. There you go. Kevin Griffin, Better Than Ezra. So let me tell you, it's going to be a great show. Yeah, it's going to be such a great show. So make sure you go Varsity. I'd love to make it. I got the kids.
He's got the best speaking voice, too. I've never heard him talk, really.
He could do the macaroni commercials. Kraft, macaroni and cheese.
Right?
He could do all that. We should have him cut some liners for us.
You got kids, so you can't go.
Yeah. I didn't know about that Norm Macdonald line. That's such a brilliant line,
it's
too.
It's really funny.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time as we do Staci Hutch, Say Too Much. Bye.
Bye.